¿Qué pasa YouTube? SixftHax here. Happy you guys today, the team builder for week number 2 of BBL season 3. So first things first, for those of you who may be wondering where my WBE week, is it 10? I want to say it's week 10, where my week 10 match is. We are facing Cybertran, VGC, aka Aaron. He was actually commentating Worlds, which was going on this weekend, so we're hopefully gonna try and play on Wednesday, maybe Thursday. So week 10 will be going up really late next week, but week 11 should still be going up on Saturday, if anything. So just, yeah, letting you guys know right now if y'all were wondering what was going on with that. But hey, right now we do have BBL season 3 going up on time, at least, so that's better than nothing. If you guys did miss our week 1 match, definitely go check that out. For this week, we are taking on Arashi YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. He is the coach of the Groningen Noctowls. I apologize if I said that incorrectly, but his channel link will be down below, as well as a link to the rest of the roster for this BBL season. So if you guys do enjoy this team builder, hit that thumbs up button down below and let me know what you think about Yveltal in the draft league format, because we are taking that on once again. Hopefully we will not fall to Yveltal this time around like we fell to it in GBA season 9 finals. So let's take a look at our team matchup here. So going into this game, easily, of course, the biggest threat was going to be Yveltal. I need to find some way that I can appropriately deal with that. Other big issues, in my opinion, were going to be Primarina and Zebstrika. Zebstrika is actually kind of annoying, just because even though, yes, I have a Garchomp and Piloswine, I'm probably not going to end up bringing both of them. At the same time, though, they do kind of play the mind games of, like, if I do bring both, then why bring Zebstrika? But either way, I still need to prepare for it regardless. But if I have both ground types, it won't be as bad. Swordsdance Mega Scizor late game could be a little bit annoying, I suppose. And then he does have a bit of a terrifying Trick Room core in Reuniclus and something like Flame Orb Hariyama. Also, Torkoal with Chlorophyll Maractus could be a little bit problematic. Then again, I don't think Maractus really learns anything that is entirely too scary. As long as I don't let Maractus get to +2 in Sun with its speed doubled, then I should be okay against it. Goodra could be a little bit annoying. Rhydon, I honestly don't expect to come to this game. Like, if anything, Rhydon is the one Pokemon I 100% do not expect whatsoever. Besides that, everything else does have a really good, solid chance to come to this game. Another big thing about this matchup is that Arashi's team is actually not that fast whatsoever, besides Zebstrika, and that is definitely something I can take advantage of going into this game. So let's go ahead and jump into our first team member here. So starting off our squad, we got good old Kaido, the Garchomp. And the great thing about Garchomp in this game is that he does not really have a good answer to this mon whatsoever. And actually, shouts out to my original front office homies, aka Aaron, DJ, Greyfeet, and Crossface, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, no, it was probably just Aaron and Crossface. Most likely. Was it? No, it was all three, actually. Yeah, shouts out to all three of those. But yeah, Garchomp here running this set basically destroys everything and anything that Arashi wants to bring against us that is not Choice Scarfed and is able to outspeed Garchomp. We are running enough speed to outspeed the Yveltal. Scarf Yveltal is actually something I do expect once again going into this game. That is definitely probably the scariest set of Yveltal, but then again, his only removal is Rapid Spin Torkoal and Defog Scizor. If he's Defog Scizor, that clearly means that he is not a setup variant, and then again, there is a good chance that he may not bring Torkoal plus Maractus. So if he doesn't have the Torkoal, that means I only have to deal with Scizor, but if it's not set up, that makes it a whole lot easier. But if he brings both, then I guess it would be a little bit hard to decide on which one would be removal, but I guess it would make more sense for the Torkoal to be the removal, and that way Scizor could have some type of way of potentially setting up late game. Either way though, his removal is really not the best, and that's where Garchomp really comes in handy as a stealth rocker. I can beat Defog Scizor, and I can beat Rapid Spin Torkoal. So once those two are gone, I get up my rocks, and that instantly ensures 25% damage off on the Yveltal coming in, and that very, very beautiful chip damage on the remainder of his team. So between Earthquake, Stone Edge, and Flamethrower, we hit absolutely everything and anything for neutral or super effective damage. Ground EMZ was chosen over potential Rock EMZ just because if Yveltal is gone, look at his draft. If I'm able to play Garchomp correctly, I can even get the Ground Z off even if Yveltal is still around and absolutely murder something. So I really am hoping that Garchomp puts in a good amount of work here in week 2. If anything, if we can at least hit a Stone Edge on Yveltal, I will be perfectly happy with that. So moving on to our next team member here, we have Azumarill aka Carrot making her debut for the Durham Druddigons here in the BBL Season 3. Now, I kind of flip-flopped between the EV spreads on this set. I think originally I wanted to have like a Jolly plus speed natured Azumarill, because the beauty of that was that not only did I guarantee outspeed Hariyama, even if it was running a bit more speed EVs than I had initially anticipated, but we also would have been able to outspeed a minimal speed EV'd Primarina, and that in itself could have come in very, very handy. But ultimately I figured that maybe having a bit more bulk would be more beneficial to us in the long run here. And the nice thing about the extra bulk is that we are able to take hits a whole lot easier from Yveltal, Primarina, Psychic, Reuniclus, Torkoal, Zebstrika, purely specially offensive Maractus, and specially offensive Gudra. So I think in the end, going a plus Spadef nature might have been better over going a plus speed nature because of the extra little bit of bulk. But because we are able to easily run dual stab in this game, Facade is kind of there just in case we get burned from Primarina's Scald. And the nice thing about that too is that with Facade, it does not hinder us whatsoever. And no, this is not a page out of Envy's book, because Facade is a very basic move to run an Azumarill if you're going to assume that you're going to get burned in the match regardless. But Facade is really good to just do any type of just really good consistent damage, and then Aqua Jet is there in case we do need to pick something off. So yeah, just a very Spadef bulky Azumarill that is still able to put in a good amount of offensive work as well this matchup. So going on to our next team member here, we have Djembe aka Quillfish making his return after week number 1, rocking just about the same kind of set, to the point where we have a good amount of speed, we have a good amount of defense, and we have a good amount of HP with the Intimidate nature and the Rocky helmet. This is basically my best answer to potential Swords Dance Scizor if he really feels the need to try and set up in front of my Quillfish. There is a good chance that I will inevitably be able to burn it with the Scald, which is going to be absolutely amazing. In my opinion, he has legitimately no reason whatsoever to run a Jolly max speed Scizor, so we are running enough speed 2 outspeed Adamant max speed Scizor, and I guess I could have maybe dropped my speed a little bit lower to maybe get some more offensive EVs or defensive EVs. Regardless though, the damage output didn't necessarily matter that much, so it was better for me to be safe than sorry, I guess. So yeah, this EV spread works out perfectly fine in my opinion, and as you see from his team, he does not have a single poison type. So as soon as I'm able to get up my T-Spikes in this match, they're going to be able to wear down a good majority of his team. Then again, it does kind of come down to the combination of what 6 mons he wants to bring. For example, if he brings like Yveltal or Uniclus Scizor, then only half of his team would be affected by T-Spikes unless Reuniclus was not Magikarp, sorry, was Regenerator or something along those lines. But that's where having spikes also does come in handy, because I can still get good damage off on the Scizor, and Hariyama being able to be hit for 12% will also be very, very handy. Although I guess if I bring T-Spikes, I give Hariyama a Guts boost, but that's something I'll hopefully be able to scout out and play around if it really comes down to it. But yeah, we are running enough speed for the Adamant Scizor, Scald, Poison Jab. Basically, it's everything for really good neutral or super effective damage. Reuniclus is kind of like the one thing I'm mainly scared of, but if we're able to keep up offensive pressure against Reuniclus and not let it sit up for free, it shouldn't honestly be that big of an issue in my opinion. And then something like Sebstrika could force us out, which honestly I'm really scared about Sebstrika going into this match. Like, you're going to see that we have a very creative set to be able to act as a backup check to it if it really comes down to it. But Rhydon is honestly something I don't expect whatsoever to come to this game, so we can always Scald that, we can always Poison Jab the Goodra. Scizor we can burn with the potential Scald, chip it down with Rocky Helmet. Even Hariyama takes a really good chunk of damage from Poison Jab as it is. I think it's like 25-ish%, which is 1/4 of its HP in general, which is already amazing. And then if we're at full HP, depending on the Yveltal spread, we can easily live one hit and then smack it with the Poison Jab to potentially get off a poison as well, which would be absolutely amazing. So moving on to our next team member here, we have Bullet, aka Mega Aerodactyl, returning once again, and this is probably the one spread that it's kind of all over the place. So I'm gonna start off first with max HP, so we can obviously take hits as well as possible. We have a plus speed nature, because the way I was factoring out the EV spread, I needed this to at least hit, I think, like 134 speed. Just something that always guaranteed outspeeding Sebstrika that was not Choice Scarf, which was his fastest mon as possible. But after I tampered with the EV spread and the nature, it turns out that me going with a plus speed nature, even though I hit 188, which is faster than I really need to be, it was able to give me a bit more SPDEF investment, because the great thing about this set is that this can kind of act as a pseudo check to Yveltal if it really comes down to it. Like, Oblivion Wing does obviously nothing to us because we resist it, but while Dark Pulse still does a decent chunk of damage, we can easily live one and then return, get off a good chunk of damage with the Rock Slide. And if he's not Scarf, we outspeed him regardless, so then there's a chance we can flinch him with the Rock Slide, which is also really good. So after the 116 SPDEF, I put a little bit in our FizzDef to potentially try and help against a fake out Bullet Punch Hariyama. And 92 physical attack EVs just help us do a little bit of extra damage, more importantly to the Goodra, the Yveltal, and the Primarina, as well as the Hariyama. So between Aerial Ace and Rock Slide, we hit just about everything except the Rhydon, which I don't expect Rhydon once again, so I'm not worried about that. Roost is there so we can keep this around for a longer amount of time. And then Taunt is amazing to stop Calm Mind Reuniclus, Rest Primarina, I guess like Sub Roost Yveltal, maybe even SD Mega Scizor, Growth Maractus outside of Sun, I guess. I don't like Maractus and Sun, I guess, is a little bit annoying, as I mentioned earlier. Like, low key, it is kind of a threat, but at the same time, it's only really a threat if the rest of our team is severely weakened and I allow it to boost up, which obviously I'm not going to let it just freely boost up. So just, I don't know. Either way, it's still really good to prepare for it, even if I don't expect it to come to this game. So regardless, Mega Aerodactyl can definitely put in a lot of work in this match, and hopefully it will do better than it did in our first week match here. Regardless though, I love Mega Aerodactyl, so we'll see how exactly well it does. So moving on to our fifth team member here, we got Nami, aka Alolan Persian, and this is probably the one set that I was just really like, I have no idea what to fit on this mon. And this is kind of the same issue as in week 1, where I had no idea what kind of item to run on Alolan Persian, but because of the Assault Vest, this actually ensures that Zebstrika should not be a problem to us whatsoever. Like, there's a good chance that Zebstrika does not come, but if it does come and I didn't have Assault Vest Primarina, it could legitimately just be a really giant offensive issue for us to deal with. So at least by having the Assault Vest on my Alolan Persian here, in case he does bring the Zebstrika, we have a good backup answer to it in the form of this mon. Plus, this also gives me another good response to Yveltal. Now, the big thing about Yveltal in this match is that I really need to figure out what kind of item it's carrying, whether it be leftovers, life orb, choice specs, choice scarf. I don't know, like choice bandit. Like, I don't know, like choice bandit doesn't make any sense. But the nice thing about this Assault Vest Alolan Primarina, the nice thing about this Assault Vest Alolan Persian set is that I can live any hit from any type of Yveltal and be able to knock off its item, which is going to make it so much easier for the rest of my team to be able to deal with it from there. Not to mention that I can get rid of any other of his mon's items if it ultimately comes down to it. While yes, I do lose a parting shot, lowering my opponent's attack and special attack by 1, I still keep my momentum aspect because of U-turn, but I gain that extra little bit of bulk that I think is very necessary to try and deal with any surprise special attackers that he may want to bring against me. So I feel perfectly fine with this set. Gunk Shot is honestly only there for the Primarina, and while I would have liked to have Play Rough between Foul Play and itself does not really do that much significant extra damage to the Hariyama, so I figured if anything, I'll have Foul Play and I can still chip his team down with U-turn as it is. So we are running enough speed for his Yveltal, if I'm not mistaken. So again, we can knock off potential specs, leftovers, I guess Rocky Helmet or Life Orb as well, which is going to be really, really huge for us. So moving on to our final team member. Of course, you guys have not seen our Uber at this point, and it's literally a throw if you don't bring your Uber for whatever reason. So our last mon is going to be Shiki, aka Necrozma Duskmane. Much like week number 1, we are running a very, very bulky offensive Necrozma, and I honestly flip-flopped between a couple sets regarding this Necrozma. Ultimately, I figured that the best way that I want this Necrozma to support my team is that this helps me against Calm Mind Reuniclus, Swords Dance, Mega Scizor, Offensive Gudra, Hariyama, and even Yveltal if we are not entirely too weakened. So the nice thing about Swords Dance dual stab heat wave is that we hit everything for neutral or super effective damage. Once we sword Zans on a Calm Mind or Uniclus, we guarantee a potential 2-hit KO or even an OKO if he's not purely defensive. Heat wave always 2-hit KOs the Scizor, and I think it might actually OKO if heat wave isn't Sun. I see, that's the weird thing too, like, would he bring Sun plus Mega Scizor? I don't really know, because that's just going to boost my fire type moves against it, and just I don't know. I really don't know. But if it's a Sun, Heat Wave murders it. Either way, it's 2-hit KO'd. Dual stab a +2 basically smacks everything around. If we are guaranteed to be at full HP, we can always live any one hit from Yveltal regardless because of our Colby Berry, and just murder it with a Sun Seal Strike. But at +2, Necrozma lets us check any potential bulky setup mons or just really annoying defensive mons he may want to bring against me. These three moves in combination are very difficult for him to switch into, and if I'm able to get on my Stealth Rocks with Garchomp, I'm going to be able to apply so much offensive pressure with just these three moves, and that's not even factoring in a Sword Dance boost. So yeah guys, that is going to be our squad for week number 2 of the BBL. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about it. With that being said, I will see you all tomorrow on Monday. Hopefully later in the week I will see y'all with week number 10 of the WBE, and we should have week 11 back on track on normal schedule this weekend. So yeah, thank you for watching. Later everybody.
Because my brain and heart are both tied in the knot, and this hinders me from crying a lot. This causing me to show no emotion. But when I said I cared, I wasn't joking. But I guess it's too late for me to become broken. For now, I'm living with no more pain, tears, or hoping. I'm just coasting. Yeah, I said I'm coasting. No more pain, tears, and hoping. For real.